Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, Tammy Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here on yet another episode. If you're new, and especially if you're new to Sisters for the Sword, then welcome. I have a lot to share with you today. If you're a returning listener to the podcast, thank you so much for coming back home yet again. All paths lead home. The overarching theme of our work this month. If you joined us for the last episode, then we were introduced to what was going on with Jenna in our Spirit Guides of Tessa Locke episode. All these build on each other, so if you're new here and you like what's going on, you're vibing with our tribe, then you can just kind of, if you feel like it, you don't have to, because some of these things do stand alone as well, but if you are working with the progression of energy for the month, as a lot of the people that listen are, then you can hop back to the last episode and get the entire energy story and the overarching themes surrounding that. And if you want to go a step further, you can go back to the June energy update, which is the one right before that, so you can get all of the good details, the spirit guides, and all of the totems and things that we're working for, the channel messages that we're working with for this month. This episode comes from a chapter of the energy story, so these are all done as channeled. Everything I write is a channeled story. The ones that come out on the podcast end up going up as ebooks. So if you're interested in anything of the work that we've done prior to this, the link to my ebook publisher is in my show notes. You can check that out. All my ebooks are free to read wherever any major podcast. We're at any major podcast provider, and our ebooks are free to read at any major ebook retailer, Barnes & Noble, Apple, Google, all of that. Not Amazon. So let's get settled in for this episode, Sisters for the Sword. If you're new to Sisters for the Sword, there's a link to my website in the show notes. You can go to the Sisters for the Sword video with podcast episode. And if this piques your interest, you can find out more about why we're here, what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, who we are. There's a podcast episode for that. Sisters for the Sword is a group of divine feminine, doesn't have to be a woman, the divine feminine energies, working on behalf of some of our sacred sites based out of Avalon, working with the Temple Karnak out of Luxor, working with some of the ancient Lemurian energies out of Kauai and Maui, Hawaii. Oh, I got chills when I said that. So let's get down to what we're here for today, for June, for the Sisters for the Sword focus for this month. You can choose to just sit back and listen and see what you think of what we're doing here, see how this resonates with you and how you want to participate. You can choose to take your listening experience an octave higher. Join me around the sacred fire circle as I wrap us all in love light and light love. Inviting in the spirit guides, angels, totems, wisdom keepers, master teachers, whoever would like to join me here around the sacred circle. Helping with the messages for today's episode. Okay. I've got some interesting guides coming in. Hold on. And you can choose to take your listening experience an octave higher, inviting in your own wisdom guides, totems, Anamkara, ancestors, elders, power animals, whoever you'd like to work with on your journey, to help you with any additional messages, information, downloads that might be pertinent to your journey based on what's coming out in today's episode. I'm saying I don't like to repeat, and my guides are saying you need to repeat. So the reason we invite in all the guides, well, my guides for me, but for you, it's to help you. This is all a learning experience. This podcast is multidimensional. There's different layers of how you can interact with it. You can choose to just listen. You can choose to jump into the sacred circle, which I definitely invite you to do because that's a safe, protected space for the work that we're doing here. If you want to invite in your own guides, the reason we're doing that is the podcast is also a psychic development body of work. On Fridays, it's a visual. We do a video. We do Freaky Fridays on Fridays. But on any other podcast episode, it's an opportunity for you to develop your psychic senses, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, the ability to hear, your clairsentience, your knowing, your feeling, your claircognizance, all of that by just listening, closing your eyes and hearing what's being said and what's coming across to you as possibly images, feelings, things you might sense. It helps you rather than just having to look at, especially to look at me talking, because you should be focused inwardly, not necessarily focused on me. Okay, so when I asked who was here for this episode, I have Archangel Metatron, I have Merlin, and I have Princess Diana, who I was not expecting. We've done episodes with her before. We have our own little TLC for the Soul tribe of returning, what do you want me to call you guys? They're like elders and master teachers, but they're disembodied. So we've had Princess Diana come through. We've had, goodness, why is my mind escaping me? We've had Bob Ross come through. We've had Tina Marie and Rick James. We just have a variety, but Princess Diana seems to be coming back in. Is there anybody else? Okay, so we just want me to work with those three right now. So you may have your own. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the energy story. And it's very interesting because it was chapter 9. So that's about endings. 9 is the number for endings. And there was a lot in that chapter. If you've listened to the podcast on Sunday or whenever you listen to it, the last one, I read that chapter and I was like, oh my God, there's so much in this chapter we have to dive into. And the guides were like, okay, save it for Sisters for the Sword. So this episode is going to be two things. It's going to be clearing if you want to, healing and clearing some of these past life vows that have come up. We'll read this chapter and then we'll talk more about those. And then I said June was not going to be super heavy. Oh, and there's a moth on my window. Moth, spirit animal coming through. So I'm in the studio and I see a little moth on my screen. He's never been there before. Oh, he's really cute. I don't know if you were here last summer when I had a huge, ginormous moth visit the house. That one was really like almost as big as the palm of my hand. This is like a little tiny, cute one. I'm not close enough to actually see him close up. But anyway, regardless. All right. So we're going to read the episode. We're going to do these past life vows clearing. And then I said June was all about fun and adventure. Also came up as part of the story with our Selkie and our pirate, Jean Lafitte. And so as part of the second part of this podcast, we're going to be doing a scavenger hunt. So the Divine Feminine is doing a scavenger hunt, and you're going to be locating 3 things. And we'll get into that in a second. I'll let the guides walk me through like how that's going to work. And then if you are working with a Divine Masculine partner, regardless of all the union in, union, reunion, all of that, because you can be working in the 5D. They don't even have to be embodied. They could be your twin soul counterpart on the other side. Doesn't matter where they are, but you're going to be doing the scavenger hunt. You're going to be finding some stuff, and then when I come back for Divine Masculine SOS, which I think is going to be next week around the same time, unless I do it, I don't think it's going to be sooner. It's going to be next week around this time. Then I have a download of a treasure map that the Divine Masculine will be getting. And somehow this all comes together for this adventure that we're doing for June. Okay, I don't have all the answers yet. The guides don't like to, it's fun for me to not have all the answers, and sometimes it's not. But we're trying to get better at not having all the answers yet and still moving forward one baby step at a time, day by day, moment by moment. And I know this is coming up for you guys in your own lives with things that you're working on. This is supposed to be a go-get-'em month of June. Yet all these retrogrades are making us feel like really tired and all of that, and ascension symptoms are coming up, and you're doing so much work in the astrals during your dream time that you may be waking up kind of exhausted, and it's like, well, how can I go get them when I can barely function? Like all weekend, I feel like I've been doing a little bit of stuff, and then I've been sitting in bed, just kind of falling over half asleep. So let's see if we can bring some levity into it and do some fun stuff to keep us going, even though I don't have any idea where this treasure hunt and this map thing is going. All right, so first things first, let us deal with these vows. Okay, this is coming up again. I think we've done similar work before, but for whatever reason, it's back. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to check in with the guides that are present and see what they're here, especially Princess Diana. I'm not sure why she's here. Merlin's here because he's always, he represents when we're working in Avalon. So he's our mentor for when we do work in Avalon. But let's just see. And Metatron is here because Metatron is always with me right now, helping me through Ascension, working with me through the Ascension process and all of that good stuff. All right, so let me read this. So chapter 9 was called All the Right Things. Jenna ended the call with her mom and sat down in the soft wingback chair. Sunlight dappled the room, and she realized she'd been gone longer than she originally thought. The weird dream she had at the tour had come across her mind again, and she lay her head back on the chair. She drifted into a light nap, and the words of the Merlin again came back to her about fixing old vows. We've been working on this concept for the past couple of weeks now. Fixing old vows. What is he talking about? She wondered behind her closed eyelids. She dreamt, and in the dream, she saw herself as a young nun. She had gone to the convent after she had lost the baby. She had vowed then that she would never have children again. And once the nunnery had accepted her, she had made the vow to never love a man again. It had all been too painful, and her frail frame and weakened emotional state had brought her to this decision. The dream ended, and Jenna woke with a start. She was holding something in her hand. But where had that come from, she wondered, looking down at the black cloth in her hand. She breathed a sad sigh as her mind again went to Rutger and then the tall winds. This is some ship she's going to go on a little mini vacay on. She grabbed her cell and dialed the number her mother had given her. So she calls... I'm just going to paraphrase some of this. So her mother had given her a ticket for a cruise and had actually gotten her 2 tickets. And Jenna had broken up with her boyfriend, and she didn't know why she had broken up with him. So she calls this cruise line and says, oh, I don't know who's traveling. And she ends up booking the cruise for herself and for her ex-boyfriend, Rutger, who she's the one that she broke up with him, but she doesn't know why she broke up with him. And she's like, she doesn't really want to be broken up with him, but for some reason she did. And Jenna, she didn't know how she was going to make it happen. So she didn't know how she was going to get the boyfriend. She would get Rutger to go with her on this cruise. But she had some weird sense of deja vu, like she had already done it. The Merlin's wicked smile flashed before her eyes. What had happened during that dream up at the tour? She didn't know how. Jenna had her work cut out for her. How was she going to track Rutger down, talk him into forgiving her silliness, and get him to agree to go on a cruise with her in less than a week's time? She didn't know how, but she suddenly did feel like trying. She didn't want to be alone forever again. She had her work cut out for her, she thought, getting a feeling of power in her chest. And then she had to move on and do some stuff. She had to go get her cat some food. So, okay. So what's going on here? So first of all, Rutger is the other character in the, he's not really a character, other persona in the story. She broke up with him. We don't know why. We don't have all the details there yet either. She feels weird about doing it. Like, why did she even do it? She doesn't know. And then she gets taken back to a past life memory in her dream state when she went into the astrals, and she dreamt that she was a nun who had, I don't know how she lost the baby, miscarried a baby or something with a baby, didn't have a baby anymore. And so she was like, well, I'm just going to go join a nunnery then. And then when she went to join the nunnery, they were like, well, whatever silly vows they make, whatever. I shouldn't say silly. I shouldn't say that, because even I think in the story she says, well, she felt like it was right at the time. So she made some vows. She felt like it was right at the time. She vowed to never have a relationship with a man again, whatever celibacy or singleness. I don't know, whatever vow she took. But now what she's finding is she's in this lifetime, and those vows were never cleared. So how does this apply to you? So those vows were never cleared, and now she finds herself like kind of sabotaging her relationships, and even ones that she likes. Like, she really likes Rutger. She doesn't even know why she broke up with him. And she's alone, and she's kind of sad about it. And her mom tries to play matchmaker and, get the two back together again. And even Jen is kind of like, yeah, I feel like I really do. And she was up with Merlin in Avalon for, I don't know how long, but something happened between them there. He downloaded her some information when she was in her astral travel to Avalon, and that happened way back, like in the first and second chapters of the story. And Merlin comes in again, and he's kind of like, almost like he made something happen. Like, what did you do, Merlin? Let me see. Let me just look. He planted a seed of remembrance. Okay, he planted a seed of remembrance in her that brought up these past life things so that she could clear them, basically, is one of the things. Or I think there's some other stuff he was teaching her, but we don't know about what that is yet. So this is for those of you that, like I said, either there could be many different things happening. This could be the thing with the child, and I'll never have a child again. I'll never have a family again. It doesn't have to be a baby. It could just be a family. Like, you're afraid, or you have this weird like feeling like, I don't ever want to deal with that again. I don't want to have a family. I don't want to meet anyone who has a family and have to deal with that. Like, I don't know. I just don't want that. Even though it's coming through for a lot of you, like, that really is part of your dharma. That is part of your life plan for this lifetime. And that's, you've asked for what's in your best and highest good. And now all of a sudden you're like, whoa, no, Nelly, I'm not doing that. So there are some past life contracts that need to be canceled. Cancel those contracts. So this is for those of you that want to do this work, right? You don't have to. You can just hear what I'm saying, and you can go like, okay, well, I don't know, I don't care. I like where I'm at, and I'm just going to stay there. So you have free will choice. You can do whatever you want. But this is coming up for a reason, especially that the guides are saying that it is part of your dharma. It's part of your soul contract. Now, you can change your soul contract at any time. Just because you made a soul contract when you incarnated, doesn't mean that you can't amend it because you're not, back in the spirit realm anymore. You are the soul. We've been working with empowerment for a little bit now, past month or so. You are the soul. Yeah, even the dog's like, yes. And you can do what you need to do if you feel like you want to change timelines, do something different. I mean, that's part of this planet, is, having the ability, it's part of our, it's solar system, whatever, to have free will choice, okay? So in a minute, we're going to, for those of you that want to clear that, this is the thing with the kids. The other one is the vows of either celibacy. It all has to do with like not wanting to be with anyone ever again, kind of thing. The vows of celibacy, wanting to be alone, and never loving anyone again. Like, I'm never going to love anyone again. It's just been too painful. And, some of you could have made that vow in this lifetime. And now you're kind of ready, but you're like, well, why am I not, like, why is no one coming to me? Well, because that still lives in your energy field, and vows, just like other types of pacts and curses and contracts and all that, when you say things, they are created. So again, we're showing you that you are empowered to create. Here's this exercise. Did we have you do this once before? Let me think. How do I want to do it? We just show the violet fire, but we'll show the violet fire again because we're going to use it here. So you are the creator, all right? So let's just rub your hands together, like just dusting them off, whatever energy's in your hands. And then with your hand, you're just going to create a violet fire. So, but don't do it yet, hold on. So off to your right side, wherever you're at, doesn't matter. Just kind of feel like bring your hand up near the top of your head or whatever, and move your hand up and down. So like from the ceiling to the floor, and just feel into that space off to the right of you. Like it should feel like there's really nothing there. You should be able to just move your hand up and down around in that space next to you. Now what you're going to do is you're going to invoke a violet fire to that same space. So you're just going to say, I invite in the violet fire, I invoke a violet flame or the violet fire next to me. However you want to say it. I call in the violet fire, however, I create a violet fire, however you want to do it. And then just in your mind's eye, see that there is a violet fire. Now, same thing you just did with your hand, brush them off again, just to say, press your palms in the middle with your thumbs on each palm. Press that palm on your right hand. And now that you've created the violet fire, like move your hand within that space, that same space that you created the fire, and feel. You should feel a warmth in a sense, and you should also feel a pushback on your hand wherever that violet fire is at, because you created it. It's there. It exists. Okay, and we're going to use that, so don't send it away yet. It's going to stay there until we're done with it. Okay, so we created a violet fire. It's there. You felt it's there. If you have clairvoyance and you can see energy, then you should be able to see it off to your right side. You should be able to, you felt it with your hand, all that good stuff. Okay. This is also about trusting things you can't see yet, knowing that they're there, they're being created on your behalf. Even if they haven't manifested in your 3D reality yet. That's a whole other story. Okay, first of all, before we clear this, I want to see why Princess Diana is here. You've come to support the children. Like, okay, but in what way? Families. Oh, she's here on behalf of families. Oh, okay. And she's here for support, for those of you that want it. For those of you that are scared about new family members that might be coming in. What else? Yeah, she's just here for support if you want to work with her around the topic of families. And I'm not talking about like your biological family. I'm talking about like a family, like the more you're on your spiritual path, the more you kind of don't resonate anymore with a lot of the people that have been around you, maybe even your whole life. Like some of you, even your family members may be falling away friends that you've had before may be falling away, and you're calling in a new soul tribe. And some of that could be a new quote unquote family. And it's not going to be the family that you're used to having. It's going to be, people that resonate with you. It's going to be soul brothers and sisters. It's going to be potentially a new romantic partner. It's going to be maybe kids that aren't your biological kids, that are supposed to be part of your internal circle, so to speak. Like they come with the package kind of a thing. And so Princess Diana is here to support you because, oh my God, she loved kids so much. I mean, come on. If you know anything about her, you know how much she loved kids. And she loved the family unit, the energetic bonds of a family. So she is here to support you if you want to call on her. And she will begin to show you, you'll start to see like stuff that has to do more with loving families versus dysfunctional families. Because I think what's happening here is there's fear, number one, of having these families because of past life vows, having certain relationships again because of past life vows. But there's also a fear of getting into another quote unquote dysfunctional family again. And so she's here to help you work with that. Archangel Metatron can help you with that. Archangel Muriel. I like this Archangel Muriel. I've been working with her for the past couple of days now, and I really love her energy. Archangel Miriam. All the archangels are like, oh, we're always here to help. Merlin is not so much. He's here to support the Avalon work. Okay, so let's get done. Let's deal with these vows so we can move on to this scavenger hunt. I'm really interested in that. These vows are just holding us up here. Okay, so if you don't want to do this healing, if you're just perfectly fine where you're at, but you're just curious about what we're doing here in this Sisters for the Sword episode, then you can just sit back and relax and listen. Nothing's going to happen because it's your free will choice to do this work. If you don't want to do it, then nothing's going to be taken from you without your consent, okay? For those of you that do want to participate, you should still have your violet flame off, or violet fire off to your right-hand side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to call in a power animal guide, and we're going to ask the power animal guide to round up the energy of the vows. So any past life vows, and it may not be just one life, there may be multiple. So rather than just try to regress and go find the lifetimes and all of that, we're going to let the power animal go in, gather them all up for us, and bring them back to discard. So you're here to support the power animal that's showing up for you. And if you don't have one, or you can't think of one, or no one's coming to you at the moment, like ask one in, invite one in right now, invite in a power animal. And if you don't get anybody, then use this moth that showed up because it's really cute and has really beautiful wings. And this moth can help do that for you. So I'll use this little moth since he's here. But if you have a power animal that you typically work with, then call that power animal in. I'm seeing bears, I'm seeing jaguars or black panthers. Just seeing people's power animals come in. I'm seeing a duck, like a mallard duck. Geese. A really like wizardly cat is coming in. Someone's got a really like cool wizard cat that's like a wizard. I love it. I have one of those too. He's one of my spirit guides. Not this one, but we do have one of those. We have I forgot. He's a Mashiba or something. We need to work with him. Who else? Okay, so there may be others. Oh, I see a raccoon. Okay, so for each of you, whoever your power animal is, the instruction for you power animals is to go into the past life energies, into the Akashic records of anyone here who is willing and wants to do this healing. And you're going in to bring back any past life vows having to do with never loving again, never marrying. I don't know, marrying is not a good word, but never being with a partner again, because marrying is like a modern, I don't know, I want to get into all that. Never being with a partner again. I'm never going to love again. That's the biggest one. Family, it's too painful. I don't ever want to have another family again. I don't ever want to have another child again. I don't ever want to love anyone like that again because it was just too much. It was too much. It hurt too bad. Anything like that that's in the Akash, okay, I'm sending the power animals out now to go gather those up. So they're going to go gather up that energy, and they're going to bring it back to your violet fire, and they're going to ask you if you consent to releasing those. So what you may see, so I want you to take a deep breath and release. So what you may see as they're going out is that you may start to see little flashes of the actual lives or the vows, or you may hear like what the vow was, like, oh, I said I'd never do this again or whatever, like, I don't know. Whatever it is for you. So let's just take a second to listen to that, see if we hear anything. Some of these I'm hearing are like current life vows, like from childhood. Okay, my moth has returned. Let me just see if your power animals. Okay, so I heard they're all back. So your power animal's going to stand in front of you, and they're going to ask you one last time, just to be sure, if you agree to dissolve these vows. So all you have to do is out loud or to yourself, just say yes. So yes, I do. And then they will put those into the violet fire that's next to you. And I'm just kind of watching them do that. Okay, so they said we are complete. So, yay, you guys. We did that. So I want to thank all these power animals for showing up here, and I just want to see where I'm at. Okay. So the next thing, so let's just thank the power animals that are here before I get all hyper and move on. Now the other thing we want to do is we want to release our violet fire. So you can feel with your right hand, you can kind of feel again, make sure your violet fire is still there. And then all you say is, I release the violet fire, or I release you, or violet flame, I release you, however you want to say it, or, thank you for your service, I release you now, whatever it is, and just see it gone. And then you can check again with your hand and feel, and it's not there anymore. All right. So now let's get on to, that was good stuff, but now I want to see what this scavenger hunt is all about. Okay, so we're telling everybody to take a drink of water, because that really was, even though I'm making it seem like, it's done, it really was a major clearing. They're saying that you did on your own behalf. It affects timelines, so you cleared some Akash in your Akashic records, you cleared some timelines, and what happens when you clear vows and stuff like that is it has a ripple effect forward and backwards, in a sense, within your life stream, within your energy stream, within your soul blueprint. And so it was really major, work we just did, even though it seems very trivial, just do it and it's gone and blah. So you want to drink a lot of water. The guides always say for the next 48 hours, there'll be this kind of integration while the changes, because you just changed your current trajectory moving forward. You've just created the potential for a whole new timeline that maybe wasn't there before. Because I got big chills for that. Because in the past, we said the vow was, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to have this type of relationship, whatever. So there were no timeline potentials for that, because your vow was what was in your reality. It carried forward those vows. So now you cleared that. So now it gives the potential for new timelines to be created for the guides and the universe, or whoever it is that's out there creating timelines. It's the higher echelon. The higher echelon folks, like the Elohim and the Lords of Karma and Lord's Time and all that, or the weavers of stuff, they're the ones that are helping with these timeline creations and divine timing and all of that. So it gives them now the ability to open up new timelines for you based on your dharma, which is your soul contract that you made before you came into this lifetime. So let's just, it needs time to kind of like sort itself out and percolate and all that good stuff. Okay. Let me check in with Merlin, see if he has anything else. Okay, he wants to do the scavenger hunt thing. All right. Princess Diana, she says she's complete. Angel Metatron. Okay, he's here holding the space, so he's fine. So Merlin, what is going on with the scavenger hunt? I'm really excited to know what we are supposed to be doing with this. Okay, I kind of got the download this morning earlier when I was out and about, and okay, but just hold on. Tell me one more thing. Tell me one more time. Okay, so here's what you're going to do for the scavenger hunt. So it's going to happen in a progression of steps. So right now, you're listening to the podcast. If you want to participate in the scavenger hunt, then all you have to do is affirm that now, or whenever you listen to this, you want to do this. And then as you go about your day for the next 3 days, each day you're going to be led to a sacred object. So from the time you listen to this and you affirm, yes, I want to do the scavenger hunt, then today, tomorrow, and the next day, you are going to be led to find a sacred object. I don't know what they are. It's going to be different for everyone. And this is a sacred object in the physical world, not in the, not in the astral world or anything like that. So you will be led to a physical object. It will be very apparent to you that this object is meant for you. And it doesn't have to be like a brick of gold or something. I mean, it could be something like a bottle cap, it could be different things, but they're going to stand out to you as this is an object that's meant for me. Okay, and the intention behind it is Merlin saying that will hold some power for you, like a power object that you're going to need moving forward. So it's not just like, oh, I found a bottle cap. It's going to be like, oh, I found a power object that I'm going to need moving forward. And it's going to be one, and then the next day something else, and then the next day something else. And it's just going to call out to you. You're going to be walking somewhere and you're going to look down and there could be something there and you're like, oh, that's meant for me. It's going to be a physical something you can hold in your hand, okay? And you're supposed to gather those 3 objects and you're supposed to put them on your altar space. And you don't have to wonder what they're there for because we don't know yet what they're there for. We don't know yet how they play into the story. But on the solstice in the next, 2-3 weeks from now, we're going to be consecrating and anointing those tools because we will be using them to get to Lion's Gates. So somehow between the time that you find them and Lion's Gate, you will need those 3 tools for something. So this is so interesting. I love it. This is part of our adventure for the month of June. The treasure maps are coming yet. If you're a divine masculine and you want to do this too, and you're listening to this, because I think I do have some divine masculines that cross watch or whatever, to see what their divine feminine is up to, and vice versa. So if you're doing this as a divine feminine and you want to know what your divine masculine is up to, then you need to come back to Divine Masculine SOS next week and see what they're doing, because they hold the other part of this puzzle. For those of you that are working with a divine partner, they're going to have some sort of treasure map they're working with. And if you don't, then that's fine. I mean, you could claim the objects in the treasure map for yourself. It's like there's not such hard, fast rules. Okay. So, oh my God, I'm so excited. I don't know what my objects are. And so the other thing with that too, because we don't have one, I don't have, hold on. What? Why is that coming through? Without fair warning. There's a lot of, oh my God, there's a lot of activation codes. Okay, let's just deliver this light language because it looks like some of you need these activation codes. You've got your instructions set for the scavenger hunt. Let's deliver the rest of this light language because there's more coming through. This is a blessing. This is to help, it's to help further clear out those things that were, they keep saying there's a curse. There's a curse that needs to be, so there's still some stuff laying around that needs to be cleared. All right, let's just clear whatever's left someone's got something that they didn't want to let go of. Or someone here didn't want to participate, but there's a curse or something surrounding one of your old timelines, and you are being strongly advised to let that go. So if you was just sitting back going like, you can't move forward unless this curse is cleared, and it's something you're not aware of. It lives in your timeline. It's a past life thing, and you need to let go of it. Like they're very strongly saying it needs to be let go of. So this is light language for everyone, and we are going to okay, this is really, hold on. So they're not forcing you. You can't be forced to let something go. Because I'm like, wait a minute here. This is going against what we just said. So you're not being forced to, but you're being strongly advised to allow that healing to occur. So I'm going to deliver the light language. You, again, don't have to consent if you don't want to, but if I was me, I wouldn't want to be walking around with some past life curse that was there that would be impacting my current timeline. So choose to let that go. If you don't, then probably not the best channel for you to listen to, because we're here to do the work. We're not here to sit back and just whatever. So, think twice. Probably best to stop coming here if you don't want to do the work. But if you do, then let that crap go and let's do this. Here's this light language, and then we're gonna wrap it up. These are blessings. Healing. This is Pleiadian Lyran. This is a part of my mother tongue. Raising your vibration. Alright, friends. There is someone trimming bushes right outside my window. Okay, buddy, you need to stop it because you're making them too thin. I'm gonna have to go out there. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta pause this. Please get out. Oh, good. Don't make them so thin. Can you not make them too? No. Where's this translate? Okay, that was interesting. Oh, shoot. I guess you get to hear all of that. Okay. I'm going to leave this in because this is happening for a reason. So there's somebody cutting trees in front of my window, and I don't want them to do that because car lights come in at night. And man, he made them so thin. Oh, but it was so frustrating because he doesn't speak English and I don't speak Spanish. And so I just stood there staring at him, and he just stood there staring at me. And he just kept doing what he was doing. Oh, gosh. Okay. Chill. Okay. And I just kept delivering my language. All right. It's real life, folks. So why is that coming through? Because everything that happens in the podcast is part of the podcast. It's like the divine feminine and the divine masculine existing almost on separate planes right now, because like I was standing not more than 5 feet away from him and he like looked at me as if I wasn't even there, and I was trying to find the translate app on my phone and I couldn't find it, and I thought I had stopped the recording and it didn't stop, so that's quite interesting as well too. So that is very weird, and he just like cut so much on these bushes that at night, oh gosh, all right, just boundaries. It has to do with having really strong boundaries too. Okay, I don't know. But it was really weird because he didn't say anything, and he just looked at me as he was cutting them. He was like staring right at me, and I was trying to like talk, but I know that they don't speak English because I've tried to talk to them before. And then he just walked off and went somewhere else. Oh my God. Okay, whatever. Any messages you guys want me to share there? Yeah, strong boundaries around distractions. This is all stuff that's coming up this month. Those of you that are waiting for a divine masculine to contact you, like it's just not time yet. It's not happening right now. They're doing their own work. So it may kind of seem like they're invisible to you at the moment, or you're invisible to them. It's more like you're invisible to them, because I clearly saw him and he just looked at me as if I wasn't even there. And I'm telling you, like, I'm super bright today. Like I was right there. You guys heard it. Okay, I'm going to let this go because it's going on 46 minutes, and right on my clock right now it's 1:23 p.m., 1:23. So I hope you guys have fun with the scavenger hunt. If you want to come back and put in the show notes, or email me or DM me on Instagram with what your 3 objects were if you feel like playing the game that way. Or if you want to post them on your own Instagram, then please tag me at TLC for the Soul so that I can see your 3 objects, because I will definitely be posting pictures of mine. They're not so secretive. I think that they have to be like hidden from the world. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here in this sacred space. Our next episode is going to be Freaky Fridays. We're going to be doing Earth Song, and I'm going to be taking you, for those of you that are interested in what is grid work, what does it mean to be a gatekeeper or whatever. The guides are going to take us to some sort of sacred location on Friday for the video, for Freaky Friday's video, and we are going to be doing some earth work together, some grid keeping work together, so we can give you guys a taste of what that's all about. All right, but until then, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your time, your day, whatever, your night, and we will see you all again soon in the next episode. Take care. This episode has been brought to you by Mugwort Mavens. You know who you are. All those not so normal people out there who just are a little bit more magical than some of our other worldly folks. Mugwort Mavens is here to support you with whatever your magical needs are, be it a sprig of mugwort, a mandrake root, or a blessed belladonna flower. Come to Mugwort Mavens for your magical needs.